It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. I'm talking TV. I'm talking movies. I'm talking anime, cartoons, sci-fi, and fantasy. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the E.A.R Chronicles. It's your host, Eric. And of course, we're going back in on our Coven Chat series for episode 6 of Agatha All Along. Before we go any further, y'all need to stop. Before you go down the witch's road, make sure you click like, make sure you commenting, but most importantly, make sure you subscribe to my channel and join the community and let me know what you're thinking, because here at the Ear Chronicles you're going to get all of my thoughts and opinions on TV shows and movies that I like. And so without further ado, my apologies for this witching hour episode, but y'all know life be lifing, so bear with me. Episode 6, Familiar by Thy Side. And let me just tell you before I even get into this episode, so many questions, or maybe the biggest question that a lot of us had was definitely answered in this episode. And we're gonna get into it. But before we get there, let's just give a rundown on how it started to how it ended. So the episode starts with William Kaplan, the 13-year-old boy whose body we know Billy to be inside of. Who we always knew to be Billy, aka Wicked. But William Kaplan is at a typical Jewish ceremony that led to his bar mitzvah. And while he out there partying, he just turned whatever, he of age. Whatever the bar mitzvah stands for means, that's what he is, right? He's having a good little time. Then he goes to go get his palm read. He goes to get his palm read. And lo and behold, y'all guess who doing the palm reading? You guessed it. Lilia Calderon. That's right. The one, the only. So she put his little palm down there and she gets to rubbing and with all that stuff they be doing and massaging and all that good stuff. And as she's doing her fake reading, because we know that she don't really be doing all this stuff. That's not really what she do. But she's doing a palm reading. Well, she does do that. She don't talk to the dead. Okay, so she's doing palm reading. But in the midst of it, them lights get the twitching when her magic starts to activate. She stops. Your lifeline is broken in two. And he's like, what that mean? And she's like, oh no, it's great. It means you're going to become a greater person, a better man than who you are right now. Trying to cover up that it means something drastically different. Because if y'all paid attention, we saw the one we know to be teen, his picture was in that crystal ball with the clothes he had on in present day. And William Kaplan, as himself, is still in his bar mitzvah clothes. And as she's trying to work her way through explaining to him that he's going to have a good life, that it means he's going to grow, and all of those good things, she has another one, which is one of the tarot card readings or cards. And the tower is preferred, the tower reversed. And y'all know I don't know about no tarot cards. I don't fool with all that. I don't. But apparently, it just kind of means that change is coming. That's, disaster is averted, or does disaster come? I don't know. I didn't look too much into it. I just can't. I can't do it. So for those who are into tarot and y'all know more about all that, please feel free to share in the comments, because I don't know about all that. But anyways, so of course William is freaked out, and so he was like, I'm just gonna go. But whatever she saw, she felt like he was in danger because she pulls out this little wooden thing, and it's almost like she's in a trance. So I wonder if this is her magic at work. And she begins to draw something, a symbol that we've seen. The symbol that appears across Teen's mouth every time he tries to explain who he is, that sigil. Yeah, Lily is the one. Uh-huh. Lilia did it. What? Mind blowing. It was Lilia all along. It was Lilia all along, man. Miss, someone's put a sigil on that boy. You put the sigil on the boy. But if we recall, Agatha did explain to us in episode 4, at the end of episode 4, even the witch who casts the sigil won't remember that she put it there. So we see her draw the little marking and place it in his bag, in his jacket pocket. And as soon as she drops it, we can see the realization that she like, why got the jacket in my hand? And she takes it. Hey, some kid left this in my tent. Who put kid? I don't know. Some kid, girl, get the jacket out of my face. So there we have it. His connection to Lilia. And then they hear, everybody, we have to evacuate. Something's going on in Westview. I don't know why I got the microphone. Oh, here's the microphone. Everybody, something's going on in Westview, and we gotta get home quickly. Right now, exit the building, exit the building. So they all leave, they get in their cars and they go home. And as his parents are driving, he's with his parents, and they're driving, he's looking at the hex. WandaVision come on the radio. They try to turn the radio. WandaVision on the radio. WandaVision on the radio, turn it up. And give me some 90s music. He can do it. Timberland on another, he can do it. WandaVision on the radio, turn it up. Talking about Westview, we gonna get it stuck. I don't know. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I can't freestyle, but leave me alone. So we see the hex starting to go down, and in the midst of it, there's a car accident. He's like, "Mom, watch out!" Car spins, smacks against a tree, takes Teen out of here. I mean, William Kaplan, he dies. We can clearly see that. The way that impact, he was gone. Brother man didn't stand a chance. And I love how they slowed it down. We can hear his heartbeat go from boom, boom, boom to nothing. But in the midst of this, we also hear Billy and Tommy in Westview. Good night, Mommy. Good night. Good night, Billy. Good night, Tommy. And as soon as William's life ends, Billy's soul jumps. Because as we know, the hex is leaving. We know that Wanda's undoing the hex, right? So these souls got to go somewhere. Because she created them. They're real. And the moment he dies, Billy's soul finds that body, and we see as soon as they say goodnight, Tommy, he yells out Tommy. But he's in William's body, right? So his dad, William's dad, had went to go flag down the cop. And guess who showed up on the scene? Which cop is on the scene? None other than, Alice Wu. Alice Wu. Who would have thought? Not me. So she was the officer on scene that kind of checked him out and was like, okay, let's get him to the hospital, X, Y, and Z. They take him to the hospital, and he's clearly not understanding who these people are, why he's in the hospital, what is going on with him. They take him home, and he gets overwhelmed because he's reading minds. If we remember from WandaVision, Billy can read minds. So he keeps reading William's parents' thoughts, and he's like, "Stop where we are, stop! I can't take it." And so he goes upstairs and just starts kind of looking around and trying to get his bearings with this new life of his, right? And so then they give us the scene with him in the car with his boyfriend Eddie, and he explains to him that he died, and now he's someone else, and he feels like he's something more. Because you are someone else. William, you are, because you're Billy. You are something more, because you're Wiccan, aka the Demiurge. So, which is this being of limitless cosmic power. By the way, I may not read the comics yet, but I do read up. Um, so he's explaining this to Eddie. He does read Eddie's mind. Eddie's like, I love you. And so he, so funny. Joe Lochte acted down in this episode. He was like, oh, and I love you too. And because Eddie didn't say, I love you out loud. He was like, two? He was like, two, period. I love you, period. Oh, it was good. It was good. So then they run upstairs and, because Eddie asked about the sigil. He's like, it's just kind of some kind of ruin, some kind of sigil sign, whatever. And so they get up there, they're doing the research. He sees the research that William / Teen / Billy has done over Westview, over witches, all of that good stuff. And as on his screen, as he opened his laptop up, who you think popped up next? We already got Lily. We already got Alice. Who you think popped up on the screen? Yup. None other than the beautiful, the oh so sassy Jennifer Kale. And he's like, oh my God, it should be illegal. Her skin's so flawless. I'm like, okay, mine too, right? We're flawless. Well, I woke up like this. Hey, I woke up like this. Don't mind me. So we see Jennifer Kale on the screen. He shuts that down and he shows Eddie a picture of a rune. A rune? I keep saying ruin. Y'all forgive me. Rune. Talking about ruin. What kind of country backwater talking am I saying? So he says, you don't look closely. That's a rune. And he's like, I thought this was an Avenger, the dome, the hex was a failed Avengers experiment. And he like, oh, that's adorable that you're so trusting. No, this was witchcraft. This was magic. And he's like, okay, we're gonna meet up with this little shady man because he knows everything that's going on in Westview. He's gonna give us the answers, and we're gonna figure out what's really going on and figure out who I am. And he's like, oh, and I'm the one who's trusting. You got us meeting this shady man for some information on Westview. In a parking lot, abandoned parking lot. He covering up cameras. He got on a trench coat, a big old hat covering his face. It's like, William died. You trying to get him? It's like Final Destination. You trying to get him taken out of here and meeting with a stranger? It's crazy. But they meet with him. He says, my name is Ralph. And we know him to be the fake Quicksilver from Westview that was under the control of Agatha Harkness, right? And so he tells William / Billy / Teen and Eddie everything about Westview, how Wanda had them in a sitcom trance like state where they have to watch their lives like pretty much play like a movie or a TV show with no control. And then he mentions that, Wanda's dead. Vision is a bunch of scrap metal and got sold for parts by Sword. And Billy / William / Teen was like, what happened to the twins? He's like, nobody knows. And he's like, what were their names? Billy and Tommy. And in that moment, we can see the realization on his face, right? Because he's like, the little speedster was Tommy in his mind reading Brother Billy. Who else read minds? Okay, exactly. So I think in that moment he realized that he's one of the missing twins. And so then he reads Ralph's mind, and he realizes, don't ask about Agatha, don't ask about Agatha. So he, of course, asks, who's Agatha Harkness? He's like, why would you ask me that? Why would you ask me that? Then he explains that Agatha is a terrible, wicked, ancient witch who did a number on him, pretty much. She took his house, ruined the market value, because, of course, like, why would you do that? Eats crazy things for breakfast, had him kidnap and tie up a woman in the attic, which we all know to be Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. He just kind of gives him all the deets on her and tells him to stay far away from her and do not go snooping around. But what does Teen do? What does William Kaplan do? He gonna go look anyway. So he goes down a rabbit hole, trying to discover who Agatha Harkness is and everything he can find out about her. And he's looking her up. And while he's looking her up and finding all this research about her, being a witch killer and all of those things, Lorna Wu, Alice's mom's version of the ballad, is playing in the background, and it's inspiring him to free Agatha, because the Witch's Road, as he reads the book, will give you what you want most at the end of it. And on his paper, he has he's writing down notes and things. He got Mom, Wanda Maximoff dead, Vision in pieces, Tommy, question mark, Billy, Tommy disappeared, Billy question mark, or something like that. And so it's clear that what he really wants at the end of the road is his family, but specifically his brother, which comes into play later on in the episode. So we also see him write down the sigil, trying to figure out what the sigil means and what it looked like. And I'm still perplexed because it looked like it was a T at a 2 in one corner, and it was an M up here and an N down here and a 3. I don't know what that means, what it could mean. Maybe y'all get, if y'all listening, y'all get this far, maybe y'all got some insight on what that sigil meant and what his research on that sigil meant. So after we get all of that right, Billy goes into Westview to go free Agatha, and he knows for the release spell, he needs to get something closely tied to her, which he finds a pendant when he breaks into her house. And then in this moment, we get Billy's POV from the arrest that we saw in episode 1 with Agatha, Agnes at the time. And let me tell you, they acted down. And it was hilarious to see his POV as opposed to what we saw in the first episode. This woman, listen, Wanda did a number on Agatha because this woman was cuckoo for Cocoa and Puffs. Like, when we look at this POV from his perspective, she was adding stuff that was never even said. First of all, she couldn't even hear him. Actually, she was making up the things that she thought he was saying because she was on that distorted spell. So everything that he was saying from her point of view was not even being said. She didn't actually hear him till he mentioned the flowers. The pictures that she thought was the dead body were really just flowers. And in the moment, she started looking at the painting like we already know, and he starts chanting the spell, which she hears. And then she takes him, wrap him up. And his hilarious line, I don't want to go back in the closet, or don't put me back in the closet. Because we know his character is gay, right? So for that, hilarious. Job well done, writers and actors and actress, because it was perfect. Catherine Hahn, Joe Locke, wonderful job. They did fantastic. That scene, plus A plus. And so then we also see when she is free from the spell and she gets him out of the closet, takes off the tape, and she asks him who he is, and he says William Kaplan. We know from episode 2, the sigil mark appeared when he said it. So he's like, oh, so he tried to say William Kaplan, that was protected. And she was like, come again? He says again, but then the second time he says, I'm Billy Maximoff. So both of his identities, the body who he's in, that name, William Kaplan, was blocked by the sigil, as well as who his soul is, which is Billy Maximoff, was also blocked by the sigil. That's what we find out as well. Then we get to present day on the road. Agatha climbs out of the mud. We see Teen kind of sitting on a little lump, a little stump, and he crushes the sigil that Lily had snuck into his pocket, that little wooden mark with the sigil. crushes it. The sigil was broken. And we're reminded, episode 4, Agatha says, sigils are not, they're destroyed when they're no longer needed. And so he starts having a conversation with Agatha about his identity when she found out all of these things, right? And the fact that she can hear him say his name. She's like, any witch with a beating heart can hear you. Any witch in the world, every witch in the world with a beating heart can hear you. Yeah, so secrets out the bag, brother. But so she tells him when he asks, like, when did she figure it out? She's like, well, I always knew or had a thought. She was thinking about it or had a feeling, but it wasn't confirmed till he did all that falling and stuff in episode 4. He pretended that the curse had knocked him out. And I told y'all, I did not believe that the curse did that to him. I felt like I said if it wasn't Rio that did it, he did it to himself somehow, because the curse was only attacking the women, and it attacked them a specific way, which was set them on fire. But it to knock you out like that, suspicious. And so that's when it was confirmed for her. A lot of people assume when she said that it was when he actually accessed his power and tossed her into the mud, and then tossed Jen and Lilia, which she tried to make him believe that they did, because she was like, well, oh, poor Lily and Jen, they didn't deserve that. And it's okay that you killed people pretty much because I've done it and I'm okay. We're going to be okay. Because he kept going on with I'm not like you. I'm better than that. Better than you. I'm a good person. All the holier than thou type of stuff. That's the way Agatha appeared. That's what it appears to her. Like, oh, you and your mama, y'all just got that same old. Y'all just think y'all got it all together. Y'all just the top of the line, cream of the crop. And y'all ain't even all that. Y'all not a bag of chips. I wouldn't even smoke y'all bag of chips. And so, but in the midst of her, throwing jabs at him and his mama, because she was like, of course, Wanda is your mama. Like, that's why everything is so dramatic now, because that's all y'all maximums are drama. Your drama. But she does tell him, like, don't you dare feel guilty about this new body, because she's like, where you come around this little fresh body? Where you get a new body from? Billy, it's nice to see you again. But she said, don't you dare feel guilty, because you're a survivor. That's what we do. That's what witches have been doing for time and time again. That's what makes you a witch. So don't let your talent make you don't be feeling guilty about the things that you can do and accomplish with your magic. So that was sweet. I like the little mentor role, because although he said he'll never trust her, he can't stand that woman, well, she could probably care less about him. I like how, well, in the comics, Agatha was more of like a mentor to Wanda, and we didn't kind of get that. We didn't really get it as much in almost in Westview, like that's the show in WandaVision. But she was acting more as a mentor for him now, even though he's like, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you. I can do this on my own. He tried to use his power on her. And it didn't work. And she's like, all that power, you can't control it. And he was like, anyway, because when you get mad, you try to do something and it doesn't work in front of somebody. And he was like, whatever, it's there. And so she's like, let's get down to the end of the road and let's do it together. You're like, together? Why would I? I don't need you. I'm not doing this. Like, nope. And then so she comes around and she's like, so if it's not power, because you got plenty of it, what does Billy Maximoff want? She come up there creeping. What does Billy Maximoff want from the road? Is it to find Mama? No, that's not it. Oh, is it to find Papa? No, he's probably in pieces all over the place. There's two of you. You're looking for, what's his name? Toby. Like, it's Tommy. You looking for your brother. Isn't that sweet? Well, if you want to see him again, we're going to have to complete the rest of this road, whether you like it or not. And, You don't have to be. She said something about him being nice, and he's like, I'm not that nice. And then he follows her down the road, down the yellow brick road, because the road is yellow, which means air trial, which means Lilia and Jen got to be somewhere. We know they're somewhere based on previews, but at this point, based on Agatha telling Billy, it appears that they're dead, but we know they're not dead. So, episode 6, I thought it was a really, really great episode. It was much longer. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Only reason why I made it making an 8.5 is because there was not a whole lot of action. You know, I like to see the stuff getting done, some magic in action. But it was still a wonderful episode. I love the backstory, getting to see um, William's parents and the relationship that he had with them was really Billy. But I love how he also mentioned how he did not get his memories back and he's been faking it for his parents the whole time. But he's in search of himself. But he found out who he is. He knows who he is, right? But he mentioned that, again, like I said earlier, how he wrote in his notebook that he's looking for his brother, and that's what he's going to be looking for on that road, because he said he feels his brother's presence, he just can't find him. Which leads me to my theory. Well, people have posted, right, plenty of pictures and clips. I even posted a clip on my TikTok at E.A.R Chronicles on TikTok about a clip from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness where Wanda is at Mount Wundagore and there's a statue of Wiccan and she's grasping his, like rubbing her fingers down that statue. And I'm like, what if she could feel his presence too, but she could not pinpoint his location? And that was the reason why she just tore through the multiverse on a rampage trying to find him, because she's like, I know he's here. I feel his spirit. I felt it. I feel it. His soul is alive. Baby's alive. But which universe is he in? And I believe that could be. Now, it's not a strong theory, but based on Billy and Agatha All Along saying how he can feel Tommy's presence but can't find him, makes me believe that there's a possibility that Wanda felt his presence but couldn't find him. I don't know what y'all think. Y'all gotta let me know. Let me know. I don't know. That could be a thing though. So that's the end of my recap. Like I said, I'm giving this episode 8.5 out of 10. I'm excited for episode 7. I know it's gonna be some action. It's a Wizard of Oz theme. We got Lilia dressed up as the Wicked, well, not the Wicked Witch, as the Glinda the Good Witch of the South. We got Teen dressed up as Maleficent. We have, um, of course, Jen is dressed up as, she's somebody. I can't remember. I don't know. But it's Wizard of Oz thing. That's all we need to know. And then we also see that the 7-7 arrive again. And people are suspecting, almost says speculating, are speculating and suspecting that this is when Lilia dies, that she may die in this episode. We don't know. We don't see. EARHustlers, thank you so much for tuning in, sticking with me throughout this episode. I appreciate all the support to my subscribers, new and old. Shout out to you all. Please, please, please make sure you like, make sure you share this video with your friends and family who watch the show, who love all things sci-fi and fantasy, anime, all those good things, because, surprise, I made the decision sometime this week. I'm going to also recap / review the last season of Superman and Lois. So my DC fans, y'all gonna get some love, hey, because I love Marvel, but I like DC too. And I love Superman and Lois. And this final season is eating. Oh my God. The final season is so good. And it's only 4 episodes in. So I want to cover that. Also, and shout out to my cousin, E.A.R. He put me on to My Hero Academia. So no promises on when I'm going to review that recap. I'm definitely not doing no recap because too many episodes. Not doing no recap, but I may review each season that I get through. Don't know when I'm gonna start that, but I'm just gonna put that out there in the atmosphere. Okay. So again, thank you all. I appreciate you for sticking with me. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back here for another episode for sure for episode 7's recap and review of Agatha All Along here with the Coven Chat on the E.A.R Chronicles, or at the E.A.R Chronicles, with your host, Eric. Ear Hustlers, I'm out. I'll see you later. Hey.